Leslie Barron from the Gilmore Keyboard Festival, and you bring like some really cool groups into town. Tonight we have, of course, Dr. Ahmed, who is going to be playing Mexican and Latin American music. Tell me a little bit about how you decide who you're going to bring in and the importance of it.
Well, this has been a really exciting experience for me because we're just developing sort of my formal position as a person who does community engagement for the Gilmores. So this is one of my first efforts in bringing a concert to town. And the way it came about really was that I was working on our piano camp that we have every summer. And I was making a t-shirt that had all these different composers on it, and I wanted to feature a lot of diversity in that t-shirt. And I was working on Latin American composers, and I bumped into this quiz, and it said, take this quiz on what you know about Latin. And so I did. And I thought, oh, I know that, I know that, I know that. And very quickly, I knew nothing more. Very quickly. And then Ahmed actually was teaching at camp, and I learned that he was an expert. And when he developed this choir, I thought, wow, this is just such a wonderful thing. He knows so much. And we have such a great Latin American community here. I thought this is a natural combination right here. Yeah. So it was a thrill to really work with community partners. We're working with Bach Festival of Kalamazoo, with the First Presbyterian Church here tonight where the concert will be. Also with the Battle Creek Public Schools, with Kalamazoo Public Schools, and with El Concilio, our Hispanic American Council right here in town. Wow.
Well, here with Dr. Ahmed Ansaldua, who is the founder of Border Crossings, right? And you also are an expert, of course, in Mexican and Latin American music. How did you come up with the name? How did you come up with the whole concept of Border Crossings?
Well, Border Crossing, you know, we highlight the word sing in the name. We had a whole bunch of names that we were trying to figure out. We were already singing and performing together. The concept of the music that we do and the ensemble is to cross cultural borders.
And primarily, you're going to be playing Mexican and Latin American music tonight, right?
Yes.
And so when you think of that kind of music, what do you hope to do?
In the case of today's concert, the program that we're doing is very much about presenting music that does not conform to the one story that a lot of people might have of Latin America. So a lot of people associate Latin America with dance music, with rhythmic and passionate, romantic sort of things, lots of percussion and that sort of thing. And we do some of that, but the music for today, half of the program is Baroque and Renaissance music from Latin America, so music from the 16 and 1700s, and then romantic art song, piano and vocal quartet, and then some folk song music that also, some of it is very unusual. So it's mostly about sharing a much wider variety of viewpoints and experiences about Latin American music, culture, people with the wider community.
And I imagine that when you play this music probably hasn't been heard by a lot of music lovers, right?
Much of the music we're doing, it's usually the first time that anyone's heard it. Some of this music I copied over from manuscripts and created the additions myself, or we were the first people to perform it in a sort of choral setting. Some of it is done pretty frequently, but maybe almost never in the United States, but rather in South America. But definitely the experience that we've had performing in here and in Minnesota is that audiences typically just don't know what to expect, and then once they hear it, they realize that it's unlike anything that they'd heard before.
covering what is it, like 500 years or so? 5 languages?
Yeah, about 450 years of history. The earliest piece they're performing was composed in somewhere in the 1500s. And we sing music in Spanish, both modern and classical Spanish and Creole Spanish. And we also sing music in Native American languages like Nahuatl, Quechua, Mochica, languages that are spoken throughout Latin America. So a wide variety of languages and cultures and styles.
And when I was on your website, it talked about Border Crossing envisions fundamental change in classical music culture so that every concert, every audience, and the artist on the stage truly reflect the cultural reality in which we live. So how did you want that? How did you become to kind of want to bring people together culturally?
Yeah, that came from my own background. Being a Mexican immigrant here in the United States in 2016, early 2017, it just felt needed. And so in the Twin Cities, I often didn't see a lot of my culture, Mexican culture, Latin American culture represented in the concerts I went to. And I just thought that I could bring that piece to the programming. And over time, that's turned into Border Crossing, which gradually started to have a much wider focus. But it did start with just me having this experience of wanting to share more of Latin American culture with the rest of the community.
That is such a beautiful thing. Thank you so much for talking with me here today.
Thank you so much.
Support for Kalamazoo Lively Arts is provided by the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, helping to build and enrich the cultural life of Greater Kalamazoo.